My wife cheated with her boss for over a year while I worked. 80-hour weeks, so I exposed them both and walked away with everything. My wife Melanie and I had been together for almost 30 years. We got together when she was 19, and I was 22, back. Then, we were broke, living in a rundown apartment that always smelled like the last tenant's cats, no matter how much we cleaned. But we were happy, just figuring things out together and making it work. We started with nothing and built everything ourselves. We have 2 daughters, Olivia, 26, and Zoe, 24. Olivia was always the smart one, valedictorian, top of her class in college, and now working at some fancy corporate job. She's engaged to a finance guy named Ethan. Their wedding was supposed to be this October. Zoe, on the other hand, has always been more laid back and into art. She's always been a daddy's girl, or at least I thought she was. Like any marriage, we had our rough patches. Money was tight when the girls were little. I worked construction, sometimes juggling 2 jobs, while Melanie waited tables and earned her degree. We fought about stupid things, but we always figured it out. That's what marriage is, right? You stick it out. You don't just bail when things get hard, but lately, something felt off. Melanie started acting differently over the past few months. Nothing major, just little things. She suddenly became super protective of her phone. One time I picked it up just to check the time. Mine was charging, and she practically dove across the room to grab it from me, saying something about privacy and boundaries. Since when do we have phone boundaries after 30 years of marriage? Then there were these girls' nights she started having with Olivia and Zoe. They used to get together maybe once a month, which I thought was great, but now it was every other week or sometimes more. When I asked what they did or where they went, I got vague answers, just dinner or catching up. Melanie used to come home and share all the gossip they talked about. About 6 months ago, I came home early from a business trip because my client meeting got canceled, so I caught an earlier flight. When I walked in, Melanie was on the phone but hung up quickly when she saw me. She said it was just Olivia, but when I asked what they were talking about, she got all weird and changed the subject. There was this one time I walked into the kitchen and caught Zoe mid-sentence, saying something low to Melanie. I didn't catch all of it, just something like, "Do you think he knows?" They both turned to look at me, eyes wide like I'd startled them. I asked, half laughing, "What are you two whispering about?" Melanie quickly recovered, giving me a casual smile. "Oh, just talking about something for later. Nothing you need to worry about," Zoe chimed in a little too eagerly. "Yeah, it's just a surprise thing. You'll find out soon enough." I raised an eyebrow and asked, "A surprise for what?" Melanie brushed past me to grab something from the fridge and said, "Just something fun. You'll see." I figured they were planning something for my birthday since it was around the corner. Then there was that other night when Melanie told me she was visiting her sister in Columbus for the weekend. No big deal. I didn't think twice about it. A few days later, I was talking to Olivia on the phone, just catching up, when she casually mentioned how her mom had gotten a nice tan. I frowned at that. A tan in Ohio in February? There was the tiniest pause, barely noticeable, but something about it made me feel like I'd said the wrong thing. Then Olivia laughed a little and said, "Oh yeah, we went to a tanning place together before she left. It was kind of a random thing. It didn't seem like a big deal, so I shrugged it off. But then I started noticing how Melanie had been dressing differently, buying new clothes and wearing makeup more often. She started going to the gym 3 times a week. Good for her, I guess, but it seemed to come out of nowhere. Oh, and she bought herself this silver bracelet a few months back, saying it was a career milestone reward or something. It looked expensive. When I asked how much it cost, she got defensive and said I never cared about her treating herself before, which isn't true. I've always told her to buy stuff she wants if we can afford it. Through all this, I kept thinking maybe I was reading too much into it. Maybe it was just empty nest syndrome or something. Both girls were out of the house now, so it was just the 2 of us. People change after 30 years together. That's normal, right? I never wanted to be that jealous, controlling husband, the kind who freaks out over a new haircut, or when his wife spends a little more time with the kids. That's just not me. I've always trusted Melanie completely, but there was this nagging feeling I couldn't shake, like something wasn't right, like I was missing something obvious. Then, on a completely ordinary Tuesday, everything fell apart. I was at work managing a construction site. Nothing special. Around lunchtime, I checked my email and scrolled through the usual junk when something caught my eye. A message with the subject line, "Your wife is cheating on you." My first thought was, it's just spam. Some scam like those Nigerian prince emails. But something made me open it anyway. The email was short. "Melanie's been screwing her boss Richard for over a year. Everyone at the company knows except you. Thought you deserved to know." And there was a video attached. I sat in my truck for about 20 minutes just staring at my phone. Part of me didn't want to watch it. Like if I didn't see it, maybe it wasn't real. But eventually I clicked play. The video was from what looked like a company Christmas party. You could see Melanie sitting close to some guy I recognized as her boss, Richard. They weren't doing anything too crazy, just talking really close. Then the camera moved to this drunk woman I vaguely recognized from when I'd picked Melanie up from work a few times. "Oh my God, is that her husband?" the drunk woman asked whoever was filming. "No, just recording the party," a woman's voice behind the camera said. "But tell me what you were saying about Melanie and Richard." The drunk woman laughed and said, "Everyone knows they've been together for like a year. They think they're so sneaky, but come on. Those business trips they take together, the way they disappear during lunch. He even bought her that bracelet she always wears." The bracelet. The silver one, she said, was her career milestone reward. I felt like my whole world crumbled. The camera person's voice came through the speakers. "How's she getting away with it?" The drunk woman laughed, swirling her drink. "Oh, she's got it covered. Got her whole routine down. Excuses. Little white lies. People think she's working late, out shopping, whatever. But nah, she's with him." The video cut off. I sat there staring at my phone, feeling like the air had been sucked out of my truck. I didn't know who sent it, but I had a pretty good guess. Vanessa, who worked with Melanie, always had tension with her after Melanie got promoted over her last year. This had to be her way of getting back at her. I tried to brush it off. Just gossip, drunk talk from someone with a grudge. But the longer I sat there, the more pieces started snapping into place. The girls' nights, the vague answers, the weird phone calls, the bracelet. I couldn't go back to work. My hands were shaking too much. I told my foreman I had a family emergency and just drove. Not home, though. I couldn't face that place. I ended up at my buddy Dave's house. He took one look at me and knew something was wrong. I didn't say anything, just pulled out my phone, hit play, and handed it to him. "Holy man," Dave said when the video ended. "What are you going to do?" I had no clue. All I could think about was that I wanted to confront Melanie right away, but another part of me needed more proof. The video could have just been office gossip from someone with a grudge, right? It wasn't enough. That night I stayed at Dave's and told Melanie I had an emergency at a job site and wouldn't be home for 2 days. She didn't even hesitate, just said, "Okay, be safe." Like nothing was wrong, like she wasn't lying straight to my face. The ease of it made me sick. The next evening, she texted me saying she was having her usual dinner with the girls. "Just a little midweek catch-up," she said, grabbing her coat. "Don't wait up." I told her to have fun and left Dave's apartment. I drove across town and parked outside the restaurant where Olivia and Zoe usually met her. I sat there for 20 minutes, expecting to see her walk in, but she never did. Then, through the window, I spotted Olivia and Zoe at their usual table. No Melanie. I gripped my phone and texted Olivia. "Hey, just wondering, did Mom make it to dinner yet?" A few seconds later, my phone buzzed. "Yeah, she's here." "Why?" I stared at the message, my stomach twisting. The truth hit me like a brick to the chest. They were lying. They'd been lying all along, covering for their mom, spinning stories, looking me straight in the eye while she was off with him. I clenched my jaw and pulled up the tracker app on my phone, the one we'd installed on each other's devices ages ago for safety. That's when I saw it. Her dot wasn't at the restaurant. Instead, it was across town at an upscale Italian place. I knew what I would find before I even got there, but seeing it still felt like a gut punch. Through the window, there she was, sitting next to Richard, so close to him that she was technically on his lap, smiling as if she didn't have a care in the world. She leaned closer, resting her head on his shoulder. They weren't even trying to hide it. I almost threw up. I took out my phone and snapped a lot of pictures. Then I opened our family group chat, one that included not just Melanie, Olivia, and Zoe, but also my parents, my siblings, her siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone. I attached the photos and typed out one message. Hope you're enjoying your dinner with the girls. Melanie, looks like your boss is enjoying it too. I hit send. Immediately, my phone started blowing up. Olivia texted, Dad, what are you talking about? Zoe asked, What's going on? My sister exclaimed, What the hell is this? My mom questioned, Is this some kind of mistake? Melanie's brother asked, Mel, what is he talking about? My cousin texted, WTF? My dad said, Call me. I didn't answer any of them. What was I supposed to say? Just found out my wife of 30 years has been screwing her boss, and my daughters have been covering for her? How's your evening going? I spent the rest of the day driving around, trying to figure out what to say. By the time I got home, they were all in the living room looking worried. Dad? What's going on? Olivia asked as soon as I walked in. We've been freaking out. I didn't say anything at first. I just pulled out my phone, opened the pictures I'd taken, and handed it to Melanie. Her face went white instantly. Who sent you these? She whispered. I took them today, I said. After I got this, I played the video. The room went dead silent. Zoe started crying. Olivia just stared at the floor. Melanie kept shaking her head, as if she could make it all disappear if she tried hard enough. How long? I demanded. Melanie wouldn't answer. It was Olivia who spoke up first. Dad, you need to understand. How long? I shouted, making them all jump. 15 months, Melanie admitted, barely audible. And you two? I looked at my daughters. How long have you been covering for your mother, lying to my face, making me look like an idiot? Zoe was sobbing now. Daddy, I'm so sorry. Mom said it was just temporary, that she was going through something. Shut up, Melanie snapped at her. Just shut up, Zoe. No, let her talk, I said. I want to hear exactly how my family conspired behind my back. I stood there staring at my family who suddenly felt like strangers. Olivia was trying to take control of the situation, as always. Zoe was crying her eyes out. Melanie looked like she'd seen a ghost. It wasn't like that, Olivia said, her voice calm and professional, always the composed one. Mom was unhappy. You were so wrapped up in work, always gone on those long projects. Are you seriously blaming me right now? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I'm not blaming you, she said, but her tone suggested otherwise. I'm just saying there were reasons. You weren't exactly there for her emotionally. You never wanted to talk about real stuff. You were physically present but mentally checked out. I stared at my oldest daughter, this stranger defending her mother's affair. So that justifies her affair? That makes it okay for you to lie to me for over a year? No, but there's no but, I was shouting again. There's no excuse for this. None. Melanie finally spoke up. I was going to end it. I was trying to find the right time to what? Come clean or leave me? Which was it? She didn't answer. She didn't have to. You know what kills me? I said, looking at all three of them. It's not even the affair. I mean, that's messed up, don't get me wrong. But it's the lying, the conspiracy, the three of you sitting around the dinner table with me, laughing, acting normal, all while knowing this huge secret. Do you have any idea how stupid that makes me feel? We didn't want to hurt you, Zoe whispered, still crying. Well, congratulations. You failed spectacularly at that, I snapped. The hurt in her eyes made me feel a twinge of guilt, but I was too angry to care. So what now? Olivia asked, always practical, already thinking about next steps while I was still trying to process the bomb that had just gone off in my life. Now, I said quietly, I want all of you out of this house. I can't even look at any of you right now. Dad, please, Zoe begged. Let's talk about this. I know I messed up. I just didn't know what to do. Get out, I shouted. I'm serious. All of you get out. They left with Melanie and Olivia practically dragging a hysterical Zoe behind them. As the door closed, I collapsed onto the couch, feeling as if someone had ripped my heart out and stomped on it. The house felt so empty and quiet. I walked around, looking at all our family photos. In a fit of rage, I grabbed the nearest picture of us at Olivia's college graduation and smashed it against the wall. The glass shattered, which felt satisfying for about 2 seconds. Then I just felt worse. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the couch staring at nothing, trying to make sense of everything. My phone kept buzzing with texts and calls from all three of them, but I ignored it. What was there to say? The next few days were a blur. I took time off work, telling my boss it was a family emergency, which was technically not a lie. I barely left the couch, didn't really eat, didn't shower, just sat there replaying every moment of the last year, looking for signs I had missed. Dave came by to check on me, bringing food that I didn't eat. He wanted me to stay with him, saying it wasn't good for me to be alone in the house with all the memories, but I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. My phone kept blowing up. Melanie's messages ranged from apologetic, "I'm so sorry. Please let me explain," to angry, "You're being childish. We need to talk like adults," and then became manipulative. "I'm worried about you. Please just let me know you're okay." I ignored them all. Melanie was nothing to me now. After everything I had given to this marriage, after 30 years of sacrifice, hard work, and loyalty, she threw it all away for some cheap affair. Fine. That was her choice. She could enjoy her boss. I didn't care. But Olivia and Zoe, that was the real knife to the gut. My own daughters, the kids I raised, protected, and provided for, had been part of this. They had known. And worse, they had helped her, lied for her, covered for her, looking me in the eye, sitting across from me at the dinner table and acting like nothing was wrong. That betrayal was something I couldn't shake. Olivia sent one text, "What you're doing is unfair to everyone. When you're ready to have a mature conversation about this, let me know." Entitled as always, acting like I was the one who messed up. I wanted to throw my phone against the wall. Zoe was different. She called constantly, leaving tearful voicemails. "Daddy, please talk to me. I know I messed up so bad. I was just trying to keep the family together. Mom said if I told you, you'd leave and everything would fall apart. I'm so sorry. Please don't hate me." Her messages were the hardest to ignore. She had always been my little girl, the one who would bring me dandelions and call them flowers, the one who would fall asleep on my chest watching cartoons. But now, all I could see was her lying to my face, helping Melanie sneak around behind my back. After a week of this, Dave finally convinced me to get my act together. He was right. I couldn't just sit there feeling sorry for myself. I needed to take action. So I called a lawyer that Dave recommended. "With the evidence you have, you're in a good position," the lawyer told me after I showed him the video and pictures. "But you need to be smart about this. Don't leave the house. That can be seen as abandonment. Don't empty the bank accounts, but do move half the money to a separate account she can't access. And document everything." I followed his advice. I stayed in the house, moved money, changed the locks, and started documenting every interaction. Melanie showed up one day with Olivia, demanding to be let in to get her things. I recorded the whole thing on my phone, standing in the doorway while they called me every name in the book. "You can get your stuff when my lawyer says you can," I told them calmly, which only made them angrier. "I'm getting married in 2 months," Olivia shouted. "Are you really going to ruin that because Mom made a mistake?" "A mistake is forgetting to pay a bill," I said. "What your mother did was a choice. A series of choices made every day for 15 months. And what you did was just as bad. I was protecting my family." "No, you were protecting your mother's affair. There's a difference." They eventually left, but not before Olivia said, "I'm still expecting you to pay for the wedding." The audacity of that girl. I just closed the door in her face. All I could do after 2 weeks since I discovered the truth was try to keep it together, going through the motions. Wake up, go to work, come home, stare at walls, try to sleep, repeat. Dave and a couple of other buddies kept checking on me, inviting me out for beers or to watch games, but I turned them down most of the time. I didn't have the energy to be social. Zoe kept trying to reach out, calling, texting, even showing up at my job site once. I finally agreed to meet her at a coffee shop, not ready to forgive her but at least willing to listen. She looked rough, dark circles under her eyes, hair unwashed, wearing the same hoodie she's had since high school. "I'm so sorry, Dad," she said as soon as I sat down. "I know that doesn't fix anything, but I am." "I should have told you." "Why didn't you?" I asked. That's the question that keeps me up at night. Mom said she was going through a midlife crisis, that she just needed to get it out of her system, and if you found out, you'd never forgive her. She said it would destroy our family. So instead, you destroyed my trust." She flinched like I'd slapped her. "I know it was wrong, but you were always working, Dad. Always at job sites, always stressed about money." "Mom was lonely, and I'm not saying that makes it okay," she added quickly. "What she did was wrong, but maybe if you'd been around more, talked to her more, noticed she was unhappy, and there it was." Even in her apology, she was still blaming me, still making excuses. "I worked my ass off to give you and your sister everything," I said quietly, "to put you through college, to make sure we had a nice house, nice cars, vacations. If your mother was unhappy, she could have talked to me. She could have suggested counseling. She could have asked for a divorce. Instead, she cheated, and you helped her." "I know," she whispered. "I'm just trying to explain, not excuse." I wasn't sure I believed that, but looking at her, I couldn't just walk away like I'd planned. She's still my daughter, but I don't know if I'll ever trust her again. "I need time," I told her. "I don't know if I can ever trust you the way I used to." "I understand," she said, wiping away tears. "Thank you for meeting me." As I watched her walk away, I was torn between wanting to call her back and wanting to cut her out of my life completely. Meanwhile, the divorce was moving along. Melanie was fighting for half of everything, including my retirement account that I'd started before we even met. She wanted the house, alimony, the works. Claims she sacrificed her career for our family, even though she's been working full-time since Zoe started elementary school. And get this, Olivia was still sending me wedding bills, venue deposits, floor payments, dress alterations. The nerve! I didn't respond, but each new demand made me angrier. One night, I got a text from Ethan, Olivia's fiancé, asking to meet for coffee. He wanted to understand what really happened. When we met, he admitted Olivia didn't know he was there. She'd be furious if she found out. She told him that I was overreacting to a brief affair, kicked them all out, and refused to pay for the wedding out of spite. He hadn't fully believed it, noticing Olivia had been acting secretive. I laid it all out for him. The video, the 15-month affair, how both girls had covered for Melanie. By the end, he looked sick. "I had no idea it was this bad," he said. At that point, I was still trying to figure out what to do about Olivia and Zoe. Cutting them off completely felt drastic, but after everything, could I ever trust them again? Rebuilding seemed impossible when I wasn't even sure if they truly regretted what they had done. But one thing was certain, Melanie and I were finished. There was no coming back from that level of betrayal. So I filed for divorce. Work became my escape. I had to keep the money coming in, especially with the divorce set to drain me dry. My crew knew something was up, but they didn't ask questions. When I zoned out or needed a minute, they just gave me space, which I appreciated. The divorce turned ugly fast. Melanie's lawyer tried spinning the narrative, painting me as a neglectful workaholic who had pushed her into the affair. My lawyer suggested settling to avoid dragging it out, but I refused. This wasn't about money anymore. It was about principle. Ethan called me again yesterday. Apparently, he had a big fight with Olivia after our talk. He started asking questions about the affair, and she flipped out, accusing him of taking my side and betraying her trust. The irony is staggering. "I'm having serious doubts about the wedding," he told me. "If she can lie about something this big, what else is she keeping from me?" Smart kid. Cheaters protect cheaters, I told him. Someone who can justify lying to their father for over a year can justify lying to anyone. Speaking of Olivia, she sent me this long email last week full of psychobabble about how I need to process my feelings and work through my anger so we can heal as a family. Like we're all just going to hold hands and pretend everything is fine. I can't believe Zoe had the nerve to send me more wedding expense forms to sign after everything that's happened. Ever since our coffee shop talk, she's been acting differently. She's backed off a bit and only sends me texts every few days. They're not pushy, just casual check-ins. "Hope you're doing okay. Thinking about you. Love you, Dad." I don't usually respond, but for some reason, I haven't blocked her either. Maybe a part of me isn't ready to completely let go. Dave has been a rock through all this. Last weekend, he convinced me to go fishing with him and some buddies. It was the first time in weeks that I managed to go hours without thinking about the storm my life has become. Then my lawyer called with some interesting news. Apparently, Melanie is trying to sell off some of our joint assets before the divorce is finalized. She accidentally mentioned to a mutual friend that she and her boss are planning a big trip to Europe once all this unpleasantness is over. Unbelievable. Hector got an emergency injunction to freeze everything. It was a small victory, but I still didn't know what to do about Olivia and Zoe. I love them, but every time I started to soften, I remembered the lies, the fake girls' nights, and how they covered for Melanie, warning her when I asked questions. They didn't just know. They actively helped her for 15 months, choosing her affair over my right to the truth. Olivia's wedding was coming up, and somehow she still expected me to walk her down the aisle. She even guilt-tripped me, saying my issues with Melanie shouldn't affect her special day, as if that was what mattered, not the family they helped destroy. I didn't respond. Anything I'd say would end with me telling her exactly where to go. I thought about just leaving, selling the house, moving somewhere new, starting fresh. But that felt like letting them win, like I was the one who did something wrong. Just when I thought this show couldn't get any worse, life decided to throw another curveball my way. I was meeting with my lawyer about the divorce when he mentioned checking social media for anything that might help our case. "I'm not on that stuff," I told him. "Well, Melanie is," he said, turning his laptop toward me, "and you might want to see this." It was Melanie's Facebook page. There was a post from a few days ago, a photo of her, Richard, and Olivia at some fancy restaurant. The caption read, "So blessed to be surrounded by love as we blend our families. Richard has officially proposed. Wedding planning for us after we help Olivia with hers. Engaged. Engaged." The divorce wasn't even finalized yet, and they weren't even trying to hide it anymore. And Olivia was right there with them, celebrating the relationship that destroyed our family. In the comments, she'd written, "So happy for you guys. Can't wait to have 2 weddings to celebrate." I felt so dumb. Here I was, still reeling from the affair, waking up every morning with that sick feeling, while they were already playing happy families, planning a wedding. There was more. Another post showed Richard helping Olivia with wedding preparations, apparently paying for the things I refused to cover, playing the hero. And in one photo, Olivia was calling him her bonus dad. Bonus dad? What the actual hell? That was it. The final straw. In that moment, something inside me snapped. All the hurt, all the betrayal, and all those months of second-guessing myself crystallized into cold clarity. "I want to change my will," I told the lawyer. "I want Melanie to get nothing beyond what the law requires, and I want both Olivia and Zoe removed as beneficiaries." Hector looked surprised. "Are you sure? That's a big step." "I'm sure," I said. "They made their choices. Now I'm making mine." When I got home that night, I got a call from Ethan. He was done. He broke things off with Olivia after finding texts between her and Melanie, planning how to manipulate me into paying for the wedding. They had this whole strategy mapped out, how Olivia would guilt-trip me, and how they'd use mutual friends to pressure me. The works. "You were right about her," he said. "I'm sorry, sir. I thought you should know." I thanked him, actually feeling bad for the kid. He dodged a bullet, but it still had to hurt. Later I got a call from Zoe. She was crying so hard I could barely understand her. Apparently she'd had a huge fight with Melanie and Olivia after finding out about the engagement through social media. "They didn't even tell me," she sobbed. "I found out from Facebook like everyone else, and when I asked Mom how she could get engaged when you two aren't even divorced yet, she said I needed to grow up and get with the program." Of course, Olivia took her side, insisting I was being childish and dramatic. Part of me flickered with hope that maybe Zoe was finally starting to see the truth. But then she faltered, whispering, I couldn't understand it. Why couldn't everyone just work this out? Why did things have to be so extreme?" "Mom made a mistake," I finally said, but I interrupted her. 15 months isn't a mistake, Zoe, and neither is lying to my face every day for months. Those are choices. Choices that all of you made." "I know," she said quickly. "I know that. I'm not defending what she did or what I did. I miss how things used to be." "Things were never how they used to be," I replied. "I said it was all a lie and I'm done." "What do you mean, done?" she asked, sounding scared. "I mean I'm moving on with my life without any of you." She started crying harder. "Dad, please. I know I messed up. I know that, but I'm really trying here. I'm really trying. It's too late, I said. I've already changed my will. You and Olivia are out of it. There was dead silence on the other end. You what? She finally stammered. You heard me. I met with my lawyer today. Everything goes to my brother now. But Dad, that's not, you can't just, I can and I did. You all made your choices. Now I've made mine. She hung up. I expected to feel guilty, but instead I felt lighter, like I had finally cut loose an anchor that had been dragging me down. The next day, all hell broke loose. Olivia sent a flood of texts calling me petty, vindictive, and cruel. Melanie had her lawyer contact Hector about my retaliatory actions. Even some mutual friends reached out, saying I was being too harsh and that I should consider reconciliation for the sake of the family. I slept through the night without dreams about the way things used to be. No waking up with that sick feeling. Just peaceful, dreamless sleep. At that time I realized that the family I thought I had never existed. It was a mirage. And maybe that's okay. Maybe it's better to live in truth, even if it's a painful truth, than in a comfortable lie. The divorce is final. Melanie didn't get nearly what she wanted, thanks to Hector's exceptional lawyering and all the evidence I had. She got some cash and her car, but not the house or my retirement. She and Richard got married 2 weeks after our divorce was finalized. Classy. I sold the house. Too many memories, both good and bad. I bought a smaller place closer to work in a different neighborhood. It's nothing fancy, but it's mine. No ghosts, no lies. After I changed my will and told Zoe about it, she showed up at my door the next day, crying and begging me to reconsider. She said she'd do anything to make things right. I told her I appreciated it, but my decision was final. When she realized I wasn't budging, something changed in her. She got quiet, then cold. So that's it? 30 years as a family and you're just throwing it all away. I didn't throw anything away, I told her. You all did that when you decided to lie to me for over a year. She left, and I haven't heard from her since. Apparently, she's moved in with Melanie and Richard, one big happy family. Olivia got married last month to some doctor she met right after Ethan left her. They didn't invite me. I didn't expect them to. I heard from mutual friends that Richard walked her down the aisle. That stung for about a minute. Then I realized I didn't actually care. The thing about cutting toxic people out of your life is that it hurts like hell at first, but then you start to notice how much lighter you feel, how much more energy you have, and how much clearer your head is. I've been seeing someone for a couple of months now. I'll call her Jess. I met her at a friend's barbecue. She's divorced too and understands the baggage that comes with that. We're taking it slow, but it's good. Really good. She knows my whole story and doesn't judge me for cutting off my daughters. She gets it in a way most people don't. Her ex cheated on her with her sister, so she knows all about family betrayal. Do I miss Olivia and Zoe? Sometimes, usually when I see a father with his adult daughters out to dinner, or when I hear a song they used to like, or on their birthdays. But it's more like missing the idea of them. The daughters I thought I had. The real ones. The ones who lied to my face for months? Nah, I don't miss them at all. A few weeks ago, I ran into Ethan at a sports bar. He's doing well and dating someone new. He told me Olivia had reached out to him recently, saying she'd made a huge mistake and wanted another chance. He turned her down. You taught me something important, he said. About self-respect, about not letting people treat you like you don't matter. Hearing that meant more than I could say. It was a small light in the midst of all this chaos. Last week, I finalized my new will with my lawyer. Most of my belongings will go to my brother and his kids, who have been my rock throughout everything. I also set up a small scholarship fund at the local community college for students in the construction management program. I figured I might as well help some kids who truly appreciate the opportunity. Jess and I are talking about moving in together next year. We're taking it slow, but the direction feels right. She makes me laugh, calls me on my nonsense, and doesn't have a single relative who has stabbed me in the back. Major upgrade. Sometimes people ask if I regret my decision to cut Olivia and Zoe off completely. They throw around phrases like, "But they're your daughters," or "family is forever," or some other Hallmark card platitude. My answer is always the same. Family isn't just about blood. It's about trust, respect, loyalty, qualities that my daughters showed me they lack. Maybe someday one of them will genuinely realize what they did and apologize without excuses or blame shifting. But I'm not holding my breath for that or for pigs to fly. What I've learned through all of this is that you can't control what others do, only how you respond. Melanie chose to cheat. Olivia and Zoe chose to enable and cover for her. And I chose to walk away from all of them. The hardest part wasn't the affair itself. As devastating as that was, it was realizing that my daughters, the people I would have done anything for, could betray me like that. They could lie to my face day after day, help break my heart, and then blame me for not being happy about it. But here's the thing. Once you accept that the people you loved aren't who you thought they were, you can start to build a life that's real, not based on lies or false obligations, but on genuine connections with people who actually care about you. So yeah, I'm doing better than I ever expected to be. This isn't the life I planned, but it's a good one, an honest one.